And I know that one of the inspirations you had that brought you into a different message than what a lot of is out there traditionally was a dissatisfaction in traditional leadership training. Can you tell us like what was your experience about that and how it shaped you and your mission personally?
Yeah, so my probably my second major job after leaving the military was working for like the biggest retailer in the UK, which is Tesco. And I'm always really conscious whenever I talk about this. Like I'm not anti Tesco. I'm not kind of sort of beating them up because I learned a huge amount when I in my 18 months working at that organization. And I think that's always on us as leaders to take the learning from every experience. Um, but when I saw some of the leadership training that was going on there, a fair bit of it didn't sit that well with me. And it wasn't necessarily how leadership training was developed. Admittedly, some of it wasn't that inspiring, and I thought it could have been better. But that wasn't the main issue. My frustration, which was born out of my journey into leadership, was that it focused very much on just the task, like get the job done, and it was focused very much on here are a load of leadership tools, models, or concepts that you can use to help you achieve your targets or goals. And there was very little that really spoke to what it truly meant to be a leader, like the purpose of a leader. There was very little that touched on like the people that you lead and looking after them and developing them. And it all just started to feel a little incongruent or inauthentic to me, to the point where, and I wrote about this in my book. There's a guy who was going through his leadership program that would get him promoted to director level, and as part of that program he had to deliver a project into the business. I didn't know this guy at all, but the part of the business I worked in, I could help him deliver this project. So he'd found me on the internal email system, introduced himself. Hey Ben, can I come around and see you? I'm working on this project. I said, yeah, no problem. And Tesco at the time had a model, an influencing model called taking people with you. Um, there was a point where the cynics in the organization started to call it dragging people behind you. But basically, it was a four-step model, and the graphic was built around like the diamond on a baseball pitch. And he came to my desk, he found me, and he saw a picture of my daughter, who was 6 months old at the time. And he kind of said, "Oh, I see the picture there. Is that your daughter?" And I started answering, and I could see before I'd even finished answering, he wasn't listening. And I could almost see the cogs turning in his head. And it suddenly clicked and went, I know what you're doing. You're taking me through the taking people with you model. I could literally see him going, okay, I've asked Ben if that's his daughter. I've connected personally because that's like step one of the model. And he was moving on to step two. And he's asked like the step two question before I'd answered his last question. And I suddenly realized like he's not being a leader. He's doing leadership. He was doing a model to me. And that was how I felt. I felt done to. I felt kind of manipulated, and like that was the big moment for me. Like there's a different way. Like this isn't how I want to do things. So that was the one of the light bulb moments for me.